actually on this topic after this brief introduction which I wanted to give on this issue. So just bear with me because we are 4 panelists waiting. We'll be discussing on the issues which I'm going to introduce. This is just a short presentation to tell you what we're going to discuss about. So we are talking about the competition issues in digital markets or e-commerce. We're talking about social media. We're talking about WhatsApp. We're talking about Google. We're talking about Amazon. We're talking about the big tech actually. So how the big tech have actually revolutionized the way the business is done. Everybody wants to be online. If you're not online, you're not seen. You have hardly any business if you're not online these days. It's becoming inevitable to be online. So how we want to discuss is the issues related to antitrust or competition which arise in e-commerce or digital markets. So this presentation is just to give you the overview that what we're going to discuss as a panel. Just that. So we will be introducing the overarching reach of the social media, which the European Commissioner calls centers of large empires, because they have so much of data, huge data of everybody. You know, Google watches you, your Alexa watches you, everybody watches you, the artificial intelligence is on. And then we're going to discuss the potential benefits which we have actually got as consumers. And compare it with the dark sides, if any. Are there any dark sides? Generally not thought about. Everybody wants to say what is the problem in e-commerce happening was you get so many choices you have got. You get a delivery at your door, what is the problem? So we'll tell you the problem, what problem is going to be. So we are talking of doing business in the global age of digital gatekeepers. Who are gatekeepers? The big tech platforms. We're talking of Amazon. We are talking of Google. So they have become so big and they control so much of information of everybody that they become like gatekeepers. The Europeans call them as gatekeepers. So we're going to discuss the pros and cons of competition, online competition in the markets. So these are the pros which we will be discussing about generally. I'll be telling you a little more detail when we come to the panel. But you can see how the advent of internet commerce has changed our lives. It has become so easy. You see, the prices have decreased. The competition is online. There is a facade of competition, I would call it, because everything is at a click of a button available, and as if it is free. You got a situation where the sellers hardly have any power left, as if they're competing for the market. And the competition is intensified to an extent that the prices have started coming down. The choices are many. In India, in my own country, you see, we had only 2 airlines earlier in the good old days. Now we have plenty of airlines available, plenty of cars. So much of choice, so much of things have come thanks to competition. Our telecom rates are the lowest in the world. So this is the beauty of competition. We're going to discuss that. And then some of the negative side you can see. Particularly the third point, like algorithmic. The use of big data analytics, algorithms, and now the artificial intelligence, how it actually destroy the competition per se in the market. It may benefit consumers, but the competition is being killed because, you see, Facebook acquired WhatsApp. Nobody bothered. Google acquired DoubleClick. There are many killing acquisitions which are happening. And are those acquisitions such that they are killing the competition, or are they going to benefit the competition ultimately? So this is the debate we're going to have around it. And there is surge in ranking. So suppose there is a very interesting phenomenon called self-preferencing, for example. That means if I'm Amazon, I will have some vendors who will be preferred sellers, right? And I'll give a higher ranking to them because I've got stakes in them. If I've got stakes in a particular vendor, so he's not my competitor. He's like me. But you are supposed to be platform. Amazon is a platform, so it is supposed to be neutral. But is it remaining neutral? So-called network neutrality is gone. So these are some of the issues we're going to discuss about, because what happens is the self-preferencing is the biggest problem of this internet commerce. As you grow big, you started abusing that bigness. To be big is not bad. To be dominant is not bad. Abuse of dominance is bad. So we're going to discuss all that. Surge in ranking is a particular phenomenon which some of you may be facing. I don't know whether you face it in Singapore or other ways, but at least in India we face it. And there are cases going on. Investigations are on. Amazon is being investigated in India also. And then there's some of the features which we'll discuss about this. As I said, self-referencing is a new theory of harm which is generated. And they expand as the cost of profit. You see, Amazon is growing. There is a company called Uber. Uber gives so much of discount. So from where the fund comes? The taxis have stopped because they can't compete with Uber. So they are actually losing profits, but they are expanding. Now, Amazon is not only a search engine. Amazon is not only a platform. Amazon has gone to do all parts of business, Google is not just a search engine. So because of the expansion they do at the cost of profit, they lose profits, but they expand horizontally, vertically, everywhere. So that bigness is coming in a big way, thanks to the business model these big tech follow. So these are some of the some of the features which we're going to discuss, particularly the role of big data. This is an algorithm-driven economy now. Everything is decided by algorithm. You have a choice. Suppose you're watching YouTube. You start liking, my wife is a fooder, for example. She likes food to have, how to foods are made. So she'll keeps on getting all those kind of ads only. Only those, features will come. Once you like a particular thing for a minute, you see how the algorithms, because everybody, there is algorithm watching. I don't know how many of you have seen the movie called The Social Dilemma. It was a Netflix movie which came on, and I request everybody to see it because that is how a broader understanding will come. And it said if you're getting something free, then you are the product. If you're getting a product free, then it's not free because you are the product, your data is going. So product is not actually free, so to say. So that is the beauty of these models, and then there are restraints, detail we may skip at the moment. And these are the issues which we are going to highlight, some of them. Even digitalized collusion is possible, you see. Uber, there is a hub and spoke cartels going on. The platform acts like a hub and it fixes the prices. And the dynamism is so much that in a day there are 15 to 16 times the prices change. Just try on internet, please see. So there's so much of things happening, and there are clauses like MFN clause, most favored nation clause we call it. It means that you will not give a deal better than what you give on my platform. So there is something called booking.com. Some of you might have booked your hotels from there, So booking.com was investigated in Europe, and it was penalized because it gave a wide parity choice. That means every hotel who wants to come on booking.com was given a condition that you will not give a rate lower than you give to me, not even another platform, right? You can be on say, Make My Trip. You can be on other platforms, but you will not give a deal better than what you give to me. So across parity platforms, best you have to give to me. So that kind of MFN type of a clause. Even on your own website, you can't give the rate better than what you give on my platform. So that means only people will drive to booking.com. Everybody will turn to booking.com, obviously. That's how the competition is killed. That's how they drive away the competition. Very, very subtly, very, very subtle ways. And I spoke of the hub and spoke cartels. And then we were also going to debate, because we, the panelists, were actually having our discussion amongst ourselves. Is it something new? Or is it an old wine in a new bottle? Are these platforms doing something which the earlier big ones were not doing? We had Rockefellers. We had big companies in America. They were also doing the same thing. Were they not abusing dominance? Is abuse of dominance something new they are doing? Or is it something, they have created a new theory of competition? Is it like that? Or is it the same old story being repeated just with the help of a technology? So that we're going to discuss that. And this pricing I just mentioned, is it discriminatory pricing or differential pricing? I'll give you an example of discriminatory pricing. So I come from New Delhi. In New Delhi, you got South Delhi, East Delhi, North Delhi. There are various Delhi, there is a posh area, there is a not so posh area. So if I'm booking a cab on Uber from, say, Chanakyapuri in New Delhi, and it also sees from which phone I'm booking. Suppose I'm booking from iPhone, the price I'll get will be higher than the price if a person books the same, on the same Uber, a cab, say from East Delhi, relatively not that posh area, and say from an Android phone, a common phone, the price will be different. That's kind of a differential pricing they're doing. And they call it differential. Actually, it is not differential, it's discriminatory. It is discriminating according to the user's choice, according to the user's standard. Is it fair? Should it happen? Why should it happen? And then leveraging, of course, you are dominant in search engine, Google, but you are trying to enter the Google Pay market, for example. So every application on Google Android has to pay through Google Pay. That was the case going on in India. You see, Google Pay was made mandatory. In-app purchase, you got in-app purchases. If you want to purchase something on the application itself, you have to make payment through only Google Pay, though there may be other UPI, for example, in India. There are other modes of payment, online payment, but they're not allowing you to do that. So that's called leveraging the market power, right? To enter into other areas where you're not present as yet. So those kind of concerns are there, and then the debate will begin. This is the background. So I'm a columnist also. I write articles in newspapers. I'm one of the earliest movers in this area because I was a part of Competition Commission of India. Then I took voluntary retirement from the government. So 2012, way back as 2012, I wrote this: should online markets be immune from CCI scrutiny? And in this article, I discuss about offline and online debate. There's an offline market or there's an online market. Because at that time in India, people were not thinking that deep as we are talking today. Those things had not come by the time. So I started with this. And then we'll come to this first part of debate will be offline and online. These are the three areas we're going to discuss. Whether they are really substitutable or whether it is a case of a weak competitor being protected. Why should a weak competitor? After all, it is competition. After all, these are two channels of distribution of the same product. If I do a shopping journey, suppose I want to buy a shirt, I have a choice to go to a store or I have to choice to see on my phone. Whichever is cheaper, Amazon is famous, why will I not talk from Amazon? And there are people who do these shopping journeys. They go to a store, ask the price, say of a costly product, and see the same price on online. And then debate with him. Oh, you look, it's coming so cheap, how are you giving so far? So this is the way the consumers are getting benefit, no doubt. But is it a case that the offline market is not or online market is not a separate market? Is it a part of the same broader market called retail market? After all, it is a retail sale. So these are the issues. And then, of course, network neutrality I just discussed. Are they digital resellers or they are digital platforms? I give you a very interesting, I generally give in my lecture this example. So the difference is this. You see a shopping mall, if you go to a shopping mall, it's a platform. Because the shopping mall doesn't own a store, right? It is not selling. The product which are sold on a shopping mall belongs to different resellers. You may have a shop in a shopping mall, say of Nokia. You may have a shop of, say, Reebok or any other model or any other brand, for example. So shopping mall doesn't own anything. But the reseller is the owner of the product. So what happens is the platform was supposed to be like a shopping mall. They become a digital reseller actually. I gave you the example, the preferred sellers. So if they have stakes in those sellers, that means they become digital resellers. So that's how the neutrality is being destroyed. In fact, I remember very clearly when Jeff Bezos came to India, I was interviewed by CNBC, and I said this same thing. I said, you should please remember that somebody is watching you. In America, if you remember, there was a congressional hearing took place in 2020. 4 big, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Sundar Pichai of Google, and even Tim Cook, they were investigated by the House Judicial Committee of US Senate. And they were asked to explain why are they doing what they are doing. Why are you abusing your market power which you've acquired because of technology? You cannot do it. So, and if you remember, Mark Zuckerberg was crying. I remember those TV debates. 2020, the staff report is also out. You can see on internet. So it's not that Americans are the mothers of antitrust. It's the US is the mother of antitrust. From Americans, we learn antitrust. And then the Europeans have their own model. But in India, we also have the same effective competition model. We'll come to that later. So this is the offline-online will be the first debate. The second debate will be ex ante and ex post. This is the recent one. That means now has the time come to regulate them. Regulate means not regulate by the law, but by policy. You see, by policy. So can Google be divided by the US government? Or should the FTC go to the court and explain to the court that how it is causing an adverse effect on competition? And then get a decree in their favor. Because in US, the FTC, etc., they go to the courts to prosecute, you see, for the antitrust violation. Most of the European nations also it happens. Like, of course, in India, it's the Competition Commission of India, which is the regulator. But in Europe, it is like that. So, is the ex ante stage come? Or the ex post is still to be tested? Ex post means the adjudication by the antitrust authorities and then by the courts. That's what ex post is. So that debate is very interesting. Actually, it's a very contemporary debate. I have written also on this, when I wrote this article in 2020, here the monopoly phony. In this, I took up this debate and I wrote on this debate that whether in India the stage has come yet. Because we don't have, unfortunately, in India, what is called the attempt to monopolization law. We have only abuse of dominant position, unlike US has that. We are not at that level anyway. So this is the second debate. Third debate would be this: consumer welfare or effective competition. This also we will discuss, but I'll just take a second to explain what this actually means is, see, all these big techs, they've originated where? They've originated in US. All the big tech are Americans, actually to say. And in America, antitrust is very well developed. It's 100 years plus. Sharma Act is 1890. So there the philosophy is very clear. The philosophy is that if it is for consumer welfare or is it for competition welfare. In America, they take the competition more important than the consumer welfare. In Europe, it is consumer welfare centric. In India also, we are consumer welfare centric. So, and Americans now are debating that whether, because they are all American companies and they know that so long as we keep the consumer happy, the authorities are not going to bother us. Because we have always have a defense that, well, what we are doing, what is your problem? Consumers are happy. Who are you to disturb us? Are we doing something anti-consumer? We are not. So please don't touch us. But then the American says, no, but you are killing the competition. You are killing your acquirers. You are acquiring nascent, innovators. You are actually killing innovation in a way. So that is the debate which is going on. And of course, deep discount is something which happens. These are the aberrations of their practices. Like I gave you the example of Amazon. Whenever there is a big Diwali sale, for example, in India, Diwali is a very big festival of India. They give so huge discounts that nobody can match them. So that deep discounting that's called, very, very huge discount, 80%, 70% discount on a product, imagine, on a cell phone. So this is what the tool I have been approached by people from the other side, the online vendors, who say, sir, where we go? We have gone to the CCI, the cases are going on. Amazon is being investigated. So this is called non-price predatory behavior. There's a price predation we can understand. What is predatory? Selling below cost. I'm a large player. I want to oust the competition. What I'll do? I'll start selling below cost, even at the cost of causing loss to me because I have deep pockets. But not everybody has deep pockets. So it's called predatory pricing. But in the big tech, they're not doing only predatory pricing. They're doing non-predatory behavior. And that predatory behavior I told was sacrificing profits to kill competition, surge in ranking, self-preferencing. These are some of the non-predatory behavior which they are doing. And then can we maintain, this is what we're going to discuss, can we maintain that equilibrium somehow so that it's both ways taken care. And of course the big data is another aspect we're going to touch upon. So very well known, data is the oil of markets. These days everything depends on data. How strong your database is and how fast your data is being analyzed and how fast your algorithms are there. You have to train your algorithms actually to utilize the data. Netflix is doing experimentation. I'll just show you when we discuss that. So, and on this also write an article, WhatsApp dictate and competition, because WhatsApp was investigated in India for breaching data privacy. So there's another issue, last issues of data privacy and competition. What is data privacy? If I give my consent to WhatsApp for using my data, is it allowed to share that data with Facebook so that I can keep getting targeted endorsements? Am I being asked? I am not being asked. Am I being given a choice? I am not being given a choice. So this earlier they had a policy of opt-out before 2016. In 2020 they came out with a policy of take it or leave it. That's where the problem started. WhatsApp said if you have to use my app, you have to do what I want to do. You have no choice. You have to give me consent to use your data, my data, to Facebook, because Facebook has acquired me. What do I do? So I'm a Facebook company, I'm a Meta company now, sorry. It's not Facebook anymore. So that with this is data privacy versus competition law. This was a subject I wrote in Financial Express, it came. And then regulatory enforcement, how there is a divergence amongst nations on how to regulate, whether it is an ex-ante has come or whether it's exposed. This is going to discuss at the last. So this is our, and then we'll conclude with the thoughts. So this is my small presentation I wanted to give as an background. Thank you very much.